He called me earlier. It's like, yo, when you spar, I'm gonna come to the gym. I'm like, I'm gonna spar at 4 o'clock. I really didn't think he was gonna pull up, but he pulled up. It means everything. His advice and listening to him in the ring. He calling out little shit. I'm trying to make sure I do what he says. So, a hell of a blessing to have Bud, Floyd, all these guys backing me, and I appreciate them. I'm just trying to keep pushing and keep getting better and better.
The most skillful fighter at 135 will be hands down Shakur Stevenson.
When you hear that Floyd Mayweather Jr. has been working with Shakur Stevenson ahead of the Teofimo Lopez fight, it doesn't feel like a headline grab, it feels like alignment.
Oh, it was so amazing. It was, but now I'm kind of so used to like,
regular.
Yes, it feels so normal. Like, honestly, that's why me and like Floyd is so like close now, because it's like I'm a genuine person, and he don't like he like genuine people around. So,
do you think he sees a lot of you in himself?
Yeah, he do. I know he do, but like I said, I feel as though I appreciate them guys. I appreciate them. I really don't even look at them like how everybody else look at them. I look at them
friends.
Yeah, like it's like cool people.
Floyd, Shakur, and Terence Crawford aren't just friendly, they share a language inside the gym, the kind built on timing, discipline, and understanding how fights are actually won. Floyd popping into Shakur and Bud's camps isn't about spotlight or control, it's about sharpening edges that are already dangerous. He's not there to change Shakur, he's there to refine him, to stress the small things that separate winning rounds from stealing them.
So Floyd, when you think about the fighters who are fighting now, can you give me your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 when it comes to the lightweight? The lightweight, who you would put where?
Well, you got guys fighting between 130, 135, and 140. They stack, around that area. So, I mean, as of right now,
skills that pay the bills.
The most skillful fighter at 135 will be hands down Shakur Stevenson.
And what is it about him? Because I know he have a lot of good attributes, but do you think he has enough power to sustain?
Well, it's really all about skills. Pernell Whitaker wasn't a huge puncher, but he was, very exciting, very tough, and he fought everybody. And Shakur is trying to do the same thing. He want to fight the best they got out there.
Foot placement, punch economy, defensive posture under pressure, the stuff casual fans don't see, but fighters feel immediately. He's always been a guy who gives game to fighters who respect the craft, not because he has to, but because he understands how rare it is to see discipline done right. For Shakur, having Floyd around isn't about copying a style, it's about reinforcing a mindset, staying calm when the opponent is loud, staying precise when the moment gets heavy.
What's the sort of last couple from me? What's the sort of best bit of advice he's given? You've obviously got so many people you can call on. You're in a very fortunate position like that. You've got a strong team. What's the sort of best bit of advice he's given you in this game?
A lot of advice he would give me is like boxing related, and he always wanted to show me like little tricks and little things that I could take with me. And that's why I fuck with Floyd heavy, because a lot of people be hating on him, but they don't understand he really like a real dude. And you know what's even crazier? A lot of people be seeing him like when he around, he come with like 15, 16 people. I swear he had to be at the gym with like 2 or 3 people. 2 or 3 people chilling. It was a normal vibe for him. It was regular. He was comfortable, and I think that side of Floyd, I think that's the side that I like.
And when fighters of this caliber start cross-pollinating ideas instead of guarding secrets, that's when you know something serious is being built. And once you hear about Floyd sharpening Shakur's blade in the gym, the conversation naturally shifts to someone who's actually been on the other side of the storm.
Shakur is an amazing fighter. He's going to have a great career. Crazy skills, good boxing ability, And I will always be proud of him, always. You know, that's why, even like Shakur, you know, I had a chance to train him the other day in the gym.
Because theory is cool, but experience hits different. That's where Jamaine Ortiz comes in, and I love his energy here because it's calm confidence, not hot air. This isn't a guy guessing off highlights. This is someone who shared rounds with Teofimo Lopez and walked away knowing exactly what he felt. And when Ortiz says he leans towards Shakur Stevenson, it's not disrespect, it's math. He's basically telling you, look, cutting off the ring sounds great on a whiteboard, but doing it against someone like Shakur is a whole different exam.
I'm sure you'd rather have the winner of the two. So, I mean, who do you think wins that fight? I mean, do you think Shakur will be able to?
I think Shakur would win. Yeah. We know Shakur's a great boxer, and we just seen what I did to Teofimo. So I think Shakur will be able to box him out easily.
I actually laughed when he said training camp showed him everything he expected from Teo, because that's the most dangerous compliment you can give a fighter. No surprises means no fear. Ortiz is quietly pointing out that Shakur lives in those in-between moments where punches don't land clean and frustration builds interest. And the key line for me is how hard it's going to be for Teo to get punches off consistently. Not impossible, not hopeless, just hard.
Yeah, hopefully during training camp they learn how to cut off the ring. We'll see. You know, I think yeah, I don't. It's gonna be hard for Teofimo to get in some punches off on Shakur, but we'll see. We'll see.
That's boxing honesty. No drama, no exaggeration, just difficulty. And then Ortiz flips it right back to himself, talking about making jaws drop on the same night, which I respect, because that's fighter mentality. What I take from this is simple. When the guys who've actually felt Teofimo's power and timing are still saying Shakur's control might be the bigger problem, that tells you everything. This fight isn't about explosions, it's about access. Who gets to fight where they're comfortable? And when someone who's been in there says, yeah, that might be tough, that's not noise, that's a warning.
I guess asking you, being in the ring with Teofimo, was there anything that surprised you with him in terms of not the success you had, but like, was there anything you thought would be harder or anything that he did that you didn't expect?
No, everything, training camp went so well for that fight that everything I seen, I already expected and seen it coming.
Right after Jamaine Ortiz's calm, clinical read, the kind of take you nod at and tuck away, Greg Hackett barges in like someone who brought fireworks to a chess match. And man, that energy flips the whole conversation. I'm with you. Ortiz bought us the sensible blueprint. Shakur by decision, careful footwork, the mental edge. But Hackett's voice is the reminder that boxing isn't polite chess all the time. Sometimes it's a wrench in the gears. He's not selling nuance, he's selling consequences. Hit Shakur the right way at the right time, and Teofimo's whole evening reconfigures into something chaotic and dangerous. I love that clash, strategy versus eruption, because it forces you to hold two truths at once.
I still like Shakur for the dub. I like Shakur for the dub because he knows how to win. Like, he knows how to win. You know what I'm saying? And he's always prepared to win. So, and I think Shakur respects Teo to the point where he's gonna train like he's never trained before, because this is a great fight for him. This is probably the best fight of his career up to date. Even though he's been in some great fights, this is probably the best opponent.
Yes, Shakur is surgical and hard to hit, and yes, Teo can explode in a sequence that makes deliberate plans look fragile. So when Hackett starts talking about volume and urgency, 1,000 punches, relentless pressure, ripping confidence out of a man's hands, I hear a coach trying to manufacture a different fight than the one analysts are politely predicting. We can't ignore the arithmetic of combat. One clean change of rhythm from Teo, and suddenly the default fight becomes optional. That's why I respect Hackett's bluntness. He doesn't romanticize the boxing poetry, he points out the street level mechanics that actually win fights. My hot take? We should stop pretending this is just style versus style and accept it's also will versus will disguised as technique.
You gotta work on the opposite. So what I hear you saying is, when you're tracking a guy down and getting out of the habit of loading up one shot, that means you gotta take smaller steps and put smaller shots together. You know what I'm saying? So in a sense where Teo like to jump, you gotta stop that jumping. You know what I mean? Take smaller steps, inch in behind smaller jabs, smaller right hands.
You want finesse? Bring Shakur. You want to break rhythm and cause panic? Bring the Teo version that explodes off counters and forces you into scrambles. And the funniest, truest part, the part I'll put money on in conversation, not bets, is how thin the margin is between he lights him up and he gets outboxed. One habit change, one missed inch, one overcommitted jump from Lopez, and the night flips. So yeah, listen to Ortiz, learn the blueprint, but don't sleep on Hackett's chaos manual. We're getting a fight where discipline and volatility will alternately look dominant, and that's the reason every round will feel like a small verdict. You and I, we're watching to see which truth wins.
I mean,
does the best version of Teo have to come out to be Shakur?
Not just the best, it got to be the unheard of version, the version we have never seen. You know what I'm saying? It got to be different. I'm telling you, he can't approach Teo like he approached everybody else. He can't approach Shakur like he approached everybody else, and he can't approach Shakur like, you know, like, all right, I did whatever I had to do in camp. He gonna fall to me. He gonna fall to my. It don't work like that with Shakur.
And right after Greg Hackett came in swinging ideas like he was trying to punch holes through the chalkboard, the AKOYE breakdown slides in almost sideways, calmer but sharper, like someone lowering their voice because what they're saying actually matters. I'm listening to this and thinking, yeah, this is the uncomfortable truth zone, not hype, not fear, not praise, pressure. The whole read centers on one brutal reality. Early Teofimo is a problem, late Teofimo is a question. And that's not hate, that's film. When you hear it laid out this way, you start realizing why this fight feels like a ticking clock instead of a steady climb. Teofimo Lopez doesn't need 12 rounds of hope, he needs windows, and those windows open fast and close hard. I like how this analysis doesn't romanticize his explosiveness, it weaponizes it. The idea isn't can Teo land, it's can he force Shakur to acknowledge him early. Because once that rhythm settles, once the pace drops into Shakur's preferred temperature, you're no longer fighting a man, you're fighting a system. And that's where the phrase fatal flaw actually lands. Not because Teo lacks skill, but because his margin for error is thinner than people want to admit. Early pressure isn't optional, it's oxygen. Miss that window, and suddenly every bounce, every reset, every deep breath belongs to the other guy.
I'm looking at him like if I'm Teofimo, the reason I took that fight is because I say if I get in the same positions or I can get to those spots where I can hit Shakur clean, can Teofimo hurt Shakur with one shot? Can he hurt him clean? He hasn't been a killer, as much of a killer at 140, and after Kambosos, he hasn't been the same in my opinion, but he's still explosive and still dangerous in the first 7 rounds, you know what I'm saying, the first 8 rounds. So I think it's a good fight. I like the fight actually because of that. Teofimo got the explosive punching power on his side and good athleticism, and Shakur has, you know, superior boxing IQ, good range, good distance. So it's great. It's good boxer versus good athlete at this point.
And then there's the flip side, the part that makes you pause mid-thought. The burden isn't actually equal. That's the sneaky insight here. Shakur Stevenson isn't fighting for survival in this matchup, he's fighting expectations, and those are heavier than punches sometimes. AKOYE nails that tension, the idea that just winning isn't enough anymore. You can feel it, dominate or be doubted, control or be criticized. That's a wild place to operate from, especially when your whole style is built on denying chaos, not inviting it. And that's why this fight doesn't resolve cleanly in prediction talk. You've got Teofimo needing to turn this into a storm early, and Shakur needing to prove that storms don't move him. One guy is trying to force a rumble, the other is trying to prove that rumbles are optional. I love that this breakdown doesn't pick sides emotionally, it picks timelines. Early rounds belong to danger, late rounds belong to order. And the fight lives in the question you and I are really watching for. Does the danger land hard enough before the order locks the door? That's not a clean answer. That's a collision.
I think Shakur, like a lot of fights, he needs this name in order to silence a lot of the naysayers. Because people talk a lot of shit about Shakur, especially after the De Los Santos fight. I don't think, you know, the Zabata fight took it off of him, even though they tried to make it seem like, yeah, you know, it should be off him at this point. I don't think that fight was the one. I think Teofimo is a name that will shut everybody up if Shakur can go dominate him.
So when you stack all of this together, Floyd sharpening the blade, Ortiz calmly warning you where the floor gets slippery, Hackett yelling about chaos like it's a feature not a bug, and AKOYE quietly circling the clock, you realize this fight isn't about who's right, it's about who survives their own truth. Teofimo lives in moments, Shakur lives in minutes. One thrives when the room catches fire, the other thrives when the noise dies down, and that's why this matchup refuses to settle into a clean prediction, because every round asks a different question. Can Teo force urgency before the system locks in? Can Shakur drain belief without ever raising his voice? There's no fake hype here, no safe narrative. This is control versus disruption, patience versus ignition, and the margin between dominance and disaster is measured in inches and instincts. That's why we're watching, not to feel smart, but to see which philosophy actually holds when the bell keeps ringing.
And make it a rumble early, he got a chance to get Shakur for sure. You know what I mean? But his is gonna come from blunt force trauma, not attrition. I think Shakur is obviously the dominant of the two in regards to the class. He's in a different class, but a fight is a fight. So if Teofimo can punch you in the mouth and change that game plan, then he got a shot, but he got to do it early.
Now you drop your thoughts in the comments, really debate it, because this one deserves conversation. And yo, don't ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. See you in the next one.